What is up, everybody? It's your boy Duty, back again with another video, and oh my lord, it looks like our boy DSP's got his groove back when it comes to tips and support. Well, of course we all know this is a temporary thing, but Phil was feeling himself last night, especially on the daily wrap, with an infusion of support from Lies of Phil, as I coined this playthrough. And yeah, so let's hear Phil, let's see what he has to say. He seems a little bit cocky, but of course your boy Duty's here to put him in his place. Let's hear what he has to say.
On today's podcast, we had a very important discussion because this week, as I started playing Mortal Kombat 1, I hate to say it, just wasn't resonating with the audience. And what I mean by that is I think we were all interested in the story. But once the story ended and I started playing the invasion mode, which is required in order to unlock the content needed to play online. If you don't play the invasion mode, you don't have 5 or more of the assist cameos, some of which seem to be the best ones in the game, literally putting yourself at a detriment and not having all the content. So I had to play invasion mode to do this. I explained this to everyone. I even read from a tournament organizer who's going to run Mortal Kombat tournaments. He explained the situation to everyone and how to do it and everything, that it's necessary, okay? But even after all of that, it seemed like people just were not engaging and supporting Mortal Kombat 1. Everyone's screaming for multiplayer. So we had a big discussion about it this morning on the podcast. So I recommend, if you want to hear what's going on with Mortal Kombat 1 and all of that, watch the podcast from this morning. You know, I fielded many opinions. Some people just being very stubborn, saying, we just want online play. To which I very much tried to explain. I wish I could. That's not how it works. This game has unlocks you need to do before you play online. Even in addition to that, even if it didn't have unlocks, before you can play a fighting game online to any capacity, you have to select the character you want to use. You have to go into training mode, or maybe their trials or whatever, try basic strategies, learn a few combos, at least learn what their special moves are before you try to go and play a game in any kind of a competitive nature. It's essentially been like this ever since the days of arcades were retired and games hit console. If you're going to play online, this is what you need to do. I've done this with literally every fighting game I've ever played for the last 15 years, including Street Fighter 6 recently. After having that big conversation, we still had people, oh, well, you should have just played online. And it's like, I can't help people not understand fighting games. I don't design them. I just play them. But it seems like my audience, in some cases, not everyone, that's a blanket statement, that's not true, but a lot of my audience just seem to be very, very entitled when it comes to what they want. And if I just want the online play. I don't care that you need to unlock content. I don't care that you need, oh, you should do that offline. Offline. I stream 6 days a week full time. I don't get to play enough of every game. Everyone complains they want me to play more of different games, but I should have also played offline. This is some of the responses I got today. Anyway, the full discussion is on today's Level 1 podcast. And so, as we were ending the podcast, we were getting near the end, and I was like, all right, we're gonna get Starfield going.
Okay, so first of all, Phil, of course, like he always does, he lied. Well, the first thing is he actually called his viewers entitled. That's right, he called them the entitled dents, which is just amazing. It just shows the lack of respect Phil has for his viewers, the people that pay his bills, support his lifestyle. That if it wasn't for them, he would be living in the gutter somewhere, panhandling. He's lucky now he can sit in his house and panhandle, but if it wasn't for those entitled people, Phil would be a poor hobo. And yet again, he just shows the lack of respect that he has for these people, and it really shows the type of person Phil is. As it relates to the Street Fighter, him talking about every fighting game he's ever played, he does the single player mode so that he can get familiar with the game before going online. That's a lie. He didn't do that with Street Fighter. He went online automatically. He did a training mode for each of the fighters, but that's not single player. That has nothing to do with single player. And the other thing too is that if you, like he said, well, you have to do the single player, the campaign, so you can unlock features for the multiplayer. That was kind of the case too for Street Fighter. He didn't do that though. He didn't play World Tour mode until about a week or two after the multiplayer. So you're lying there, Phil. It's not true. The only reason why you didn't play multiplayer first was because you knew you were going to be terrible. You played the beta. You had scheduled to play over the whole weekend, and after one session with no support and you looking terrible in the game, you decided to wage quit it and say, well, I'm not playing this because the game is terrible, the multiplayer is terrible. And from that point to when the game released, you focused on single mode. You were like, oh, I'm going to play single mode. That's where the money's going to be. That's where I'm going to get the views. I'm going to focus on that. And when you didn't get the views and the money, then you sit and you complain. You actually complain and say that the people watching your streams are entitled. Really, Phil? Really? And that they don't understand. They're not intelligent enough to understand that this is how everyone does it. That's not true, Phil. That is not true. You could have played the multi. And the other thing that pisses me the fuck off, Phil, when you talk out of your ass, you've said it 1,000 times. You're not playing multiplayer Mortal Kombat competitively, so it doesn't matter. So if it doesn't matter, then just play it multiplayer. Who cares? Who cares if you can have all the unlocks and have all the cameos? What does it matter if you're not playing this competitively and you're just really doing it for content for your stream, right? You talk out of both sides of your mouth, Phil. You always talk out of both sides of your mouth, and it's very fucking annoying. It's annoying when you do that. Why can't you just be honest? Just be honest with people. I rather hear you say, yeah, I'm not going to play the multiplayer because I suck at it and I don't feel like people clipping me and showing how terrible I am at the game. Be fucking honest about it, because that's what everyone's going to assume anyway. Just because you sit here and you regurgitate the same lie over and over again to your dents doesn't make it true. Most people believe that what you're saying isn't true, and the only reason why you don't want to play multiplayer because you don't want to look stupid. And just be honest, because at least when you're honest, people can't really criticize. You're being honest. You're being truthful. Anyway, let's keep going.
Someone says, are you aware that Lies of P has unlocked and everyone can play it today? And I was like, what? No, I'm not aware of that. What do you mean? So everyone, just so you know, Lies of P is a Soulsborne style game. It's not made by FromSoft, but it's been heavily advertised. You know, there was a demo out. People seem to like it. The reviews have come out saying it's basically about an 8 out of 10. That it's quite a good Soulsborne style game, just not made by From Software. Has a good story, good atmosphere, pretty good gameplay. And I was going to play it when it came out on Tuesday on Game Pass. Apparently, it just dropped today early. It was hilarious because I said, all right, let's do it then. To hell with it. I was going to play it all day Tuesday. Let's just play it all day Monday instead. So I boot the game up and people were like, Phil, are you aware you're playing Lies of P on stream? And as we're watching, YouTube is running ads saying Lies of P comes out tomorrow. And I was like, I don't know what happened. I don't know why it's early. Everyone's playing it early. So I played Lies of P all day today. Yes, all 5.5 hours of my gameplay streaming. Let me tell you guys something. To me, Lies of P absolutely feels like the spiritual successor to Bloodborne. It's not perfect. It definitely has a little bit of flaws in the gameplay engine. It's not perfect, but it's really, really good in my opinion. The graphics are great on the Series X. It runs at full 60 frames per second. There is tons of lighting and detail, and it just looks really good. Compared to, say, Elden Ring last year, which honestly did not look nearly as good as this game. This game is impressive how it's running on the console. The story is incredibly intriguing. What would happen if humans discovered an element that allowed them to create new kinds of technology, and there was a crazy industrial revolution, and they built armies and armies of these puppets to do all the work for them? But then all of a sudden, number one, the humans became infected with a plague, and number two, the puppets revolted against them. That's the plot of Lies of P. And I was like, whoa, that's a pretty interesting plot. So think Bloodborne combined with a unique, different plot and gameplay elements that are a hybrid, a lot of Bloodborne and a little bit of Dark Souls, and that's Lies of P. I had a lot of fun with it today. I've defeated many bosses, 2 major bosses, an optional boss that's you don't have to fight, but I beat that one too at the end of the stream. Did I die a lot? Yeah, I died, but it's fun. It's fair. You can learn. Like everyone said, the second boss is super hard, and a lot of people are rage quitting at the second boss. I don't think the second boss was super hard. I think the second boss was challenging, but if you're patient, if you learn the parry timing, because in this game it's about parrying rather than shooting with your gun like it was in Bloodborne, it's about timed blocks, parrying, similar to Sekiro. I think the game is fun. I had a great time, and the audience tended to agree. There's some people who were just like, it's not FromSoft, it ain't good. You know, I had a hard time having people really justify that opinion, though. Like, a lot of people were saying that. But yeah, well, what's not so good about it? And they didn't really have much to say besides, it's just not FromSoft, so they don't prefer it, right? But from what I'm seeing, It's got effort. It's got quality. I'm liking it so far, okay? And it really kind of reinvigorated me, making me feel like I like that style of game. You know, we were playing Elden Ring earlier this year, and that was all well and good, but Elden Ring we already played the year before. It was more of the second run. This is a fresh new game, and I'm having a great time with it. Also, unlike Elden Ring, the entire game is hand designed with unique shortcuts, interesting secrets, and things like that. Did you know that the Riddler is in Lies of P? Yes, the actual Riddler from the Batman Arkham series is in Lies of P as a character. I'm not kidding. He plays himself. I'm not kidding. He's in it. The game is really well done. So I'm really enjoying myself so far. Support today was outstanding. So it's funny because people say to me, oh, you see, maybe it's the streamer. Well, why is it that when the streamer plays a game like this, all of a sudden the support is sky high? Because it ain't the streamer. It's not. What it is I'm telling you, Mortal Kombat 1 is not resonating with my audience. It's just not. Maybe if I was playing it only online and I was doing well, but I can tell you, I'm not going to play it online the capacity that I play Street Fighter 6. I'm never going to get that good at it. I'm never going to like it that much. So I'll probably play it a bit online and whatever. It'll be kind of a little project, and then we'll move on to other new stuff and kind of forget about it, while Street Fighter 6 will persist and still be a part of my content. In fact, a little over a week from now, is the next DLC character, which I'm really excited to try out.
Okay, there's a lot there to unpack. So let's first start off with the mere fact here that Lies of Phil, as I like to call it. It's an okay game. It's fine. It's essentially The Matrix with puppets. That's essentially what it is. It's okay. It's fine. The graphics look nice. It's a nice little game. It's a bit repetitive. It's not the amazing game Phil is claiming that it is. It's okay. It's a 6 out of 7. It's a 6, 7 star, 6. I'll give it a 7. 7 out of 10. I played a little bit yesterday. It's fine. It's like 7, initially. Phil's only talking that this is great because of the support he got. So he played it yesterday, 2 streams, and made $190. He made $190 in tips. That's it. The super chats and memberships really didn't get accrued. It was just the tips. He made $190. Of course, that's good, especially what Phil has been doing lately, right? The other little notion here that he mentioned is that it's not. Some people say that it's the streamer, not the game, and Phil poo-poos that, of course, because he can't take any criticism on himself. If that wasn't the case, Phil, then why did you have low support for Hogwarts, for Zelda, for Diablo 4, for Final Fantasy 16, for Starfield, and for the most part for Armored Core 6? Why did you have low support then for those streams? Even GTA 5, you got some support here and there, but for the most part, if you look at it, the support was low. Why, Phil? Are you going to tell me that all of those games were terrible? Is that what you're saying, Phil? And that now that Lies of P is an amazing video game and it's going to save the channel? Is that what you're saying, Phil? Because it sounds like that's what you're saying. If that's the case, that's a flat out lie. It's the streamer. I have another reason for why the support was pretty decent yesterday. Maybe it correlated with the fact that you berated your pay pigs on the podcast and you complained and talked about how no one supported your Mortal Kombat stream. How many times you mentioned that you paid extra for Mortal Kombat and the support wasn't there? I think it's not really the game that you played that made the support good. I don't think it's that at all. I think it's you begging and chastising your dents, because we see it over and over again. How many times have you done a BegCon 1 alert stream or video, and the dents come that very next day and rally and give you support? You did it 2 weeks ago when you were talking about tips and support. What ended up happening? You had a BegCon daily wrap, and the next stream they came out and supported. So I think it's more the fact that it isn't that you're playing a better game, so people are going to come and flock and watch your streams, and you can pawn off the excuse that, well, Mortal Kombat is just not a really good game, that's why no one's supporting it. No, Phil, I think it has more to do with you begging, with you continuously chastising your dents and shaming them. you know, it gets to a point where some people probably just get embarrassed or tired of hearing you complain. So they're going to throw you $1 or $2 or get you to the tier 1 tip goal to have you shut up because you talk about it so much. I think that is that correlation of you begging versus how you do in performance is a better fit than you trying to say that Lies of P is a better game, and that's the reason why people are supporting it. I don't think that's the case, Phil, because what that does is it takes away any responsibility on your part of you being a bad streamer. You are, Phil. You're not a good streamer, and you're not a good gamer. That's another thing. You don't provide any interesting facts, any information, any background of the game. You don't provide any of that. You sit there and you play a game. That's all you do, and you read tips and support. Those are your streams right there, Phil. Every single day, I can pull up a random stream on your website, on your YouTube page, and it's going to be exactly the same thing, with the occasion of you going off and screaming at people and banning people. So, Phil, this notion that it's not the streamer, it's the game you're playing, I'm not buying it. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. Yeah, there is the occasional game that has hype release and people want to watch it, and you do get views and support for that. But that's far and few between when that happens. Most of the time, even if it's a pretty good game, especially the last year or so, if it's a good game, Phil, it doesn't matter. You're not really going to get the support I'm even going to say God of War, which you made the game of the year, really didn't get great support. You only got good support when you complained to your dents that support wasn't there. Same thing with Wulong. Remember Wulong, when you played Wulong, how you complained that you were going to wage quit the game unless someone supported it? And what ended up happening was the next day people came out and supported the stream. So I think the correlation that your beg to good support is a better comparison versus you trying to say that when you play a better game, you get more support. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace out.